Welcome back, everybody. Probiotics are good bacteria, such as the cultures naturally occurring in our yogurt, have been found to be beneficial for all kinds of things like halitosis, eczema, even irritable bowel syndrome. And now, a recent Australian study suggests that probiotics may actually help reduce the severity of the common cold. Here with more is natural health care expert Dr. Mark Mincola. Good to see you.
Great to be here.
Probiotics, I have heard of them
good
for all,
bacteria.
right, good bacteria. I have certainly heard of them, like if you take antibiotics, then you should take probiotics afterward to sort of build yourself, but never for the duration of a cold, nothing like that.
Well, you know, this is the first study of healthy subjects. So they've all been sick subjects before. This is a rare study.
Fantastic. So tell me, what did they actually look at?
Well, they looked at 474 subjects over a period of 150 days.
Okay.
And put some on the probiotics, some not. Those who were on had a marked reduction, 30 to 50%, in severity, frequency, and duration of common cold.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Incredible.
So, here's the question I have, Mark. Does this mean you begin your probiotics when you feel the cold coming on, or was the idea that you just keep it in your system
Well,
at all
I think
times?
the good idea here is prevention. It's always about prevention, keeping that stuff in your system. And like you pointed out, there are foods that have this stuff in there, so they play a role in this too.
Sure. So let's talk about some of the foods. And one of them, very obvious, is yogurt.
Yeah, yogurt, of course, has a variety of different cultures, living cultures. Buttermilk has had it for years, kefir, clabbered milks. So these are all different sources of very high concentrations. In fact, up to 500 billion CFUs, which are colony-forming units. So they're measured by the amount of colonization that they can develop. So you're talking about 500 billion units. That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
When you think about the average capsule, the capsule's about 10 to 25 billion, which is great. And the capsules, many argue, are more absorbable because the foods have to make it through the stomach acids.
Sure.
Digestion's a little rough on those bacteria.
I bet. Now, when you're talking about the mini, but how much, what are we talking about? Like, let's say if I sit down to a carton of yogurt, for example.
Well, the recommendation is 1 billion at least a day. Okay, that's the recommendation. Now, you're talking about 6 ounces of yogurt. You're generally talking about 10 to 25 billion, so you're doing pretty well there. You know, the amount of yogurt the amount of bacteria that the yogurt has is much higher. The amount you're going to absorb is much lower.
Right.
Many again argue that the capsules plus the yogurt is probably a good way to go.
Right. So you need to supplement.
I think both ways are a great way to go. I think that, you know, the plain yogurts are, unfortunately, a lot of people like the flavored yogurts. The sugar sort of offsets some of that good bacteria.
Sure.
But the yogurts are very, very high. Again, up to 500 billion, you're going to get about a half of that or so. But I think to take the yogurt with the capsule is probably the best way to go.
And because we're coming into this season, should we get started right now today?
I wouldn't hesitate, especially, you know, when you think about kids. Kids, of course, suffer so many immune problems this time of the year through flu season. I think it's so important to try to find a viable way to get that stuff in them. And, of course, it's tough to get a pill in a child, but it's not that tough to get a yogurt in a child. Right. So it's a great way to kind of help support their immunity.
Now, is there a certain kind of yogurt? I know you said plain is certainly better than anything that has the sugars, but are you talking about Greek yogurts, or can you just have your everyday average yogurt?
Well, I think, you know, again, the latest studies do indicate that the Greek yogurts are a little bit higher. That I think just any old yogurt will do, especially with a little guy.
Yeah.
You know, those little guys aren't that great with pills or with fancy Greek yogurts or whatever, perhaps. But a good flavored yogurt, I think, is a great way to start with these little kids.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it sounds like we should all be doing it. I mean, who wants a cold?
Exactly. And when you talk 30 to 50%, those are great numbers.
Those are really great numbers. If you need more information, it's maxhealing.com. Great to see you like always.
Great to be here. Thank you so much.